guys, it's Matt Beck from FreeSalonEducation.com. I'm here again with my pal Thaddeus, and he has put together an awesome cut for you guys. So, Thad, why don't you tell them the name of this cut?
All right, guys, this is a really fun cut, and it's got an even more fun name. It's called the Quiff, so it just sort of doesn't roll off the tongue, I guess you would say.
Yeah, you got to look at that word a couple times before you pronounce it, but it is a very, very popular haircut. So,
Oh yeah, this is a great haircut. It's a very fresh haircut. It's a very clean haircut. It's a haircut that is going to have your clients just loving the haircut, coming back more and more. I usually recommend like a 2 week gap for this. Ryan here loves coming in. He's one of our members. He'll come in every week or 2 weeks to get his hair cleaned up. I asked him to actually wait a little bit,
yeah.
so that we could get in there and actually show you guys how to do the haircut. I'm using my Oster Titans with the 1.5 guard, so that way we can get a nice close cut. It's going to aid in having it being like nice and clean. And then we're going to just go around that, pretty much just rolling out at the bottom of the bridle, so that way we have some hair to work with to fade into the top.
Yeah, I think key thing to look at right here is you're actually, as the head rounds off, you're dipping down with it. So You're not just going a straight line across. You're following the groove of the head, and that's going to give it a more natural look.
Absolutely, yeah. This way, the haircut's going to work with the shape of his head instead of trying to make it look like it's fitting.
And I'm sure a lot of you start freaking out because you see this. I know when I was even watching you cut, I'm like, wow, it's really dark. But just going through, using the technique, just be confident about it. Go through, cut that line. Because the more perfect you get that line and the more it kind of follows the head, the better it's going to turn out.
Oh yeah, this haircut is definitely one that you want to be very precise with your fade. We're starting off with clippers, and you can notice that I'm rolling out as I'm getting up to that heavy part of the hairline, just so that way it already starts like fading out the hair, so that I can come in with my scissor over comb and have a little bit easier of a time.
Yeah,
getting in there and to start the fade.
If you left that haircut like that, that's the haircut I had in 7th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just going in with my regular YS Park comb, and I think I was using the Z2s.
Yeah, it's the Type Z2.
Yeah, those things are great. Like, absolutely perfect for this haircut, because you've said this before. As soon as you cut that hair, it's not pushing the hair. It drops.
Yeah, if you watch, we'll get closer later on in the haircut. You'll actually see the hair jumping off the head because it grabs the hair. It just grabs onto the hair. So for scissor over comb, you want a comb or a scissor that's going to grip the hair as it cuts, so it's not pushing it whatsoever. And this scissor is definitely good. And what I like is you went in with the wider tooth comb first,
Absolutely.
Got the bulk out, and now you're going. What are you doing now?
Right now, I'm going in with my barbering comb. It's also a YS barbering comb. You can find it on FreeSalonEducation.com. But what this comb is going to allow, it's really flexible. It's really soft. So I'm able to get in and really get the precision for that fade, so that you're not going to see the line is just going to flow seamlessly from that 1.5 guard.
Yeah, because I know that we went in. It was the 339 comb that you were using.
Okay.
And I think it's important to kind of say those numbers, because the 339 did not get close enough as we were working around the head. You need a tighter comb, and the barbering comb, I believe this is the 234, I believe, YS Park barbering comb, and it gets really tight to the skin. It's perfect, and it's really flexible.
Oh yeah, this comb is so soft, like you're really able to use it to get into every nook and cranny of somebody's head. So like if somebody happens to have a lumpy head and you need to take out some of that shadowing, this comb is going to be perfect for it.
Yep. So you're still working that line. I mean, the thing I like about scissor over comb, you did the clipper at the beginning, and now you're really fine-tuning and detailing it. But if you guys like just using clippers, then just use clippers. If you want to go clipper over comb, do that. It's whatever's going to make this line the best, but the angles are going to stay the same.
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing this with for this technique with a guard,
right?
Just because it's not your typical fade for this haircut. It's definitely a little bit more extreme, definitely a larger weight.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I guess maybe if you had like the walls where you're able to adjust, you could probably get like that gradation, if you will.
Yeah.
But definitely scissor overcomb or clipper overcomb would allow you to get that graduation.
Well, and like you said, it's a quick buildup of weight. So to get that, it's real simple with a scissor. All right, so you keep wetting the head down. Why are you doing that? Let's explain that.
I like to work with wet hair. I know that when you're doing a fade, sometimes that's not always ideal, but especially going through and being able to like have like a precise line, I like to be able to see that. And we may actually be getting up into the crown where I'm actually going to be going into exactly my scissor over hand. So what we're doing right now is we're just going to start blending the top with the fade.
Yeah. So how you saw that all that weight build up, this is going to help remove that.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to essentially just continue that fade right up through the top of the head and just blend the hair in very nicely for Brian.
And this is a haircut. Sometimes you'll see people wear it. Like if you look at Justin Bieber, he's got a messier version of this.
Absolutely.
But it's like it's disconnected in the back sometimes. So you'll see that overhang. If you wanted to create something like that, just don't connect it this way. Just go up with your fade a little bit higher and let that fall over. But if you got a more classic business guy,
exactly,
like Brian,
I think that this is what was going to determine whether it's a more modern quiff,
yeah,
or a classic quiff where it's a little bit more clean cut. It's a little bit more pulled together, and Brian pulls it off very well. Like he essentially looks like he's brand new all the time. Like I think every time I see him, he literally just pulled tags off of his clothing.
Right. Yeah, I always wanted to have that. It's always like, but it's such a cool thing. And what I like about how you're going about this haircut is you're taking very fine sections, working through it precise, like we talked about earlier. You have to work precision even with men. Actually, specifically with men, because it's so short.
Absolutely. The shorter the hair, the more precise you're going to have to get. I think a lot of cosmetologists are scared of men's cuts because of that. Like they don't necessarily know that that's the reason why it is, but that they see that their imperfections a little bit more.
Yeah,
and that's because men's haircuts like have a tendency to require more precision, unless if you're going for that old school Justin Bieber look, which is essentially just a skateboarder look renamed Justin Bieber.
Right.
Unless if you're going for that messy bedhead look or the old skater / surfer look, you're going to need some precision. Like if your fade's sloppy, it's going to show.
And now, so what you're doing is you're over directing slightly, right? As you kind of round that corner.
Yeah, after we round that corner, I'm over directing backwards so that way you preserve the length in the front. You're actually going to be able to see that length drop right there, actually to the left. It's just hanging out there. Looks kind of out of place right now, but have no fear. There will be a place for it.
And that's really what the definition of the quiff is. It's a brushed up front of a haircut.
Exactly.
So, it could really, the rest of the haircut can be, however, could be long, could be short. You look at Elvis Presley. He didn't have a fade on the sides. He had long hair, but he's still wearing a quiff. So the quiff is really just the front popped up in a haircut. So you got to leave that length in the front. Otherwise, it's not going to work out.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, it's just going to look like a regular slick back hairdo.
Right. So tell me, you were in the back when you cut the right side, and now you're on the left side. You're cutting from the front.
Well, just like essentially the reason why I did that was just so I could have a better view of what I was cutting, so I can actually get in closer. I can have a more precise haircuts. Otherwise, like your angle is just going to be kind of odd.
Yeah. Well, when you were on the right side, you were pulling the hair back, and then when you went to the front of the head, you were pushing the hair back.
Exactly.
So you want to be consistent with your combing. So let's talk about what you're doing now.
Okay, so now I'm just going through and I'm point cutting, so that way we have a little bit of texture throughout the hair, but we're not doing too deep of point cuts, so it's just going to give it like a softer finish. So that way, as we when we're in the styling and we're pulling it back, we were going to it's just going to lie nicer for him.
Right.
Brian has a very nice wave to his hair, so it's just going to essentially be puzzle pieces that are just going to be forming in and lying smoothly for him.
Yeah, you definitely did a good job picking model on this one. It was like he wears this haircut really well. His hair works really well for it.
Yeah, if we don't talk about it every time he comes in, it's at least every other time. I just finish the style and I'm like, damn it, Brian, this haircut is like perfect for
Yeah.
you.
And if you see Thad's hair ever under a hat, he's probably super jealous of this haircut.
definitely super jealous.
Thad
of the
shaves
haircut.
his head every week. So
Yeah.
all right. So and then same thing on this, right? So as you get to the midpoint, the division point of the head, everything gets over directed back, correct?
Yeah, right at that midpoint, you're going to start over directing the hair back to give you that added length in the front, as well as allowing the hair to be blended from that midpoint backwards, like towards the back of the head. It allows for that cleanness.
Okay. Same thing. And this is, you're not really angling your fingers or anything. You're just going straight across. I think what makes it soft is that you're point cutting.
Exactly. Yeah. The essentially we're just pulling straight up, and the softness definitely is coming from the point cut.
And you're not really losing the structure on the sides, because if you angle that too much, like see, you can see kind of a slight angle on your finger now, but that'll just soften the shape.
Exactly.
But if you angle it too much, you're going to lose the shape. You're just going to remove. It's just going to be a different shape, I guess. You're going to follow. It's going to be more of a rounded shape.
Exactly.
And it's good when you're cutting the quiff to, if you want that top to pop up, you got to have structure on the sides that's going to help hold it.
Absolutely.
There.
Yeah, and when you see the quiff, like it almost like rounds like a little bit like on the sides, but and then like I guess that's what will differentiate it from the flat top.
Right.
Because it has that rounding, it has that softness around the sides, but still that structure to have the support of holding it up.
So big point here, and you do this on Brian every time, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you're going to see it's already pretty predominant in his part, but you're just going to go through and show how you do that.
Absolutely, yeah. I love this carved in part. It's great as long as you have a client that's coming in every week to 2 weeks, because this was 2 weeks of regrowth that was on there, and I don't know how close you're actually going to be able to see it, but it came in pretty close. We do a pretty deep carved in part for Brian because he likes it to be a little bit on the extreme side. You can go literally as thin as your T finishers or whichever trimmers you choose to use.
Yeah.
But you just want to make sure that you're going in at the same spot, because otherwise you're going to end up with almost like zebra striping.
Right.
And that's just going to be embarrassing.
So you started off blow drying this. We're going to go through the style because I think it's important for this. You used the comb at the beginning, and now you're using your hand. What's going on there?
I was using the comb at the beginning just sort of to work the product through to make sure that I had a nice even distribution of the product. And now I'm using my fingers so that I can get in there and really like stretch the hair out, make sure that it's like standing right on at the top of the root. Essentially, like as we flat wrap like a women's haircut or women's blow dry, to make sure that that root is like down close to the scalp. I'm going in and I'm pulling at the hair to do the exact opposite for Brian. I don't want that hair to like ever be close to the scalp for this haircut. I want it to be standing straight up. And then once we get those roots dry, you'll notice that I come in at the very end with a, well, not even the very end, second to last step from the end, I would probably say with a brush.
Right.
So that way it gives the hair some shine. It helps to close down that cuticle.
Yeah, number one thing is just teach guys how to do this stuff. Like, I have a blow dryer in my room. I'm a guy, but I don't. I'm a guy and I'm lazy, so I don't plug in a blow dryer every day. I actually have it already plugged in on top of my dresser, ready to go, so I can get out of the shower, get dressed, and then all of a sudden just turn my head upside down and blow it dry.
Yeah, I don't know at what point blow dryers start being strictly for women.
Yeah,
because this is a classic haircut for a guy, which means it used to be a formal style.
Right.
At no point in history do I think that this haircut was ever styled without a blow dryer.
Well, no, I mean, if you think about it, well, so back in the day, there really wasn't blow dryers, but what they would do is set it with gel.
Okay, yeah.
And then once the gel set and it dried, then they would probably, pop it up a little bit or whatever. But now to make it more modern, we're not gelling, slicking it down. Okay. And that's the big difference. And I think when you look at it, you took the one product, right? Now you're going through with a different product.
Oh yeah, I for this haircut in particular, I start off with a thickening spray because one, that's going to like boost like any hair type.
Right.
It's also going to help the hair stand up and really get that height.
Yeah.
Then after the blow dry, I'm going to go in with a wax to give it a little bit of guidelines, like a little bit of guidance. I'm not using a ton of wax.